The reason why Oklahoma and Texas left was because they saw you as JV. What is going on, everybody? It is Jake with Master Football, back at it again. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, it is Master Football, okay? All things pro football, all things college football, all things video game football, anything related to American football we discuss on this channel. I've got a doozy for you today, okay? So everybody pay attention. One more thing before we get into the video. All right, please hit that red subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Please like the video. Please share the video. Please comment. Please do anything like that. All engagement helps me. The subscriptions are big. Hopefully you get on that. But anyways, thank you all for that so much. Let's get into the video. All right, I need to discuss something really quickly. So there's a lot happening in college football right now. A big thing that's happening right now with college football, several weeks ago, we all remember what it was. The Big 12 with 10 teams, whatever. The Big 12 with 10 teams, Oklahoma and Texas decided they are going to leave for the SEC. The SEC is now a 16-team conference. The Big 12 is now an 8-team conference. For sure, they will be an 8-team conference by 2025 if no changes happen. However, there's some things that are happening really quickly that are going to affect them. This came out recently. So the Big 10 ACC Pac-12 Alliance could be announced in coming weeks as leagues combat SEC expansion. So it says the alliance will go beyond scheduling and television inventory through those specifics are scarce by Dennis Dodd just the other day. So the big thing about this was, so a lot of people think this is a scheduling alliance. I think that it is for the most part. What I really think this is a voting alliance, because now you have 3 Power 5 conferences. And again, I know that Power 5 on that last Big 12 is kind of questionable at this point, but you've got 3 Power 5 conferences that are basically like, all right, we're banding together. Big thing why is we now have 41 combined votes when we go to the table. So if the SEC wants to do something, they have to run it by us. We don't just do what Greg Sankey at the SEC wants to do. They have to run it by us. That in connection with the news that unfortunately, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but for the most part, most of the other big conferences in terms of the Big 10, the Pac-12, and the ACC have reviewed the existing Big 12 teams. Okay, those 8 teams that are left over in the Big 12, Kansas State, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech, and West Virginia, those 8 schools. And they basically said, not really sure if we want any of you guys. So that kind of puts the Big 12 in a weird spot. So again, I want to show a video really quickly. I actually like this channel, but I vehemently disagree with this video. I want to show it to you real quick. This video is going to come from 365 Sports. I encourage everybody here to go and follow them. I'm going to have a link to their channel in my description, okay? This is JD PicKell with the hard count, his opinion on what they should do in terms of adding group of 5 teams or not.
The first and probably the biggest one for me is you make the Big 12 then a JV league, okay? So you add at a minimum probably 4 teams. That's probably what you have to add. I think probably more in the range of 6 to 8, honestly. But let's say you add 4 teams. At that point, a third of your conference is then what was considered a while ago before they joined your conference. Those 4 teams were considered just before they joined your conference to be group of 5. Or the code for that is JV. Like those were JV teams that now got called up to the varsity to be in your conference, and everyone's excited because you kept the conference alive. But did you really keep the conference alive, or did you just sign your own death warrant?
So unfortunately, I cannot disagree with that opinion more than anything else. Okay, I'm sorry, I literally can't. I know, I disagree with that kind of thing. But I think that what we need to do really quickly, and again, I've got my handy dandy notebook right here. Everybody who's been here before knows the handy dandy notebook. So the thing we have to understand is, first thing I need to do is, we talked about the alliance. We went over that video. We need to talk about group of 5 teams and whether or not they're technically JV. I wanted to bring this up. So this right here is the 2009 Big East Football Conference season. So if we come down here, we see how it went. This is a while ago. This is, 10 plus years ago. So we have, at the end of the season, 12-1 Cincinnati. West Virginia finished second. West Virginia is in the Big 12, formerly JV. This is the Big East. The Pittsburgh is now in the ACC. Rutgers is now in the Big 10. Connecticut is independent. South Florida is in the group of 5. They are in the American. And then Louisville is ACC, and Syracuse is ACC. Louisville and Syracuse are 4-8 and 4-8, by the way. This is as soon as 2009. Think about this. So this is the Big East in 2009. In 2009, this is the Pac-10. If you come down here and see them, so you'll see they had Oregon was number 11. USC was number 22, and that was their only 2 ranked teams. I'm sorry, I cannot handle that perspective. And again, I have a much respect for JD. It takes a lot to make these videos. Trust me, I make these videos. It takes a lot. But I just want to go through a short list of your group of 5 teams that you have to talk about. First of all, we all saw that the fact that Big East, they had West Virginia, Rutgers, Syracuse, Louisville. All those teams are all now in bigger conferences. In addition to the fact that, first of all, TCU, weren't they Mountain West a while ago? They were, so that's a JV team that they called up. Let's go through a couple of the more recent JV teams that we can kind of talk about. To the 2015 Peach Bowl, the Houston Cougars beat the Florida State Seminoles. They were 10-2 and they were 12-1. Gosh, okay, that's pretty good there. So they were ranked 14th in the AP poll. 2010, the Cincinnati Bearcats, and again, they played the Florida Gators and they got annihilated. That was Tim Tebow's senior year, so they got annihilated in that game. The 2014 Fiesta Bowl was the UCF Knights beating the Baylor Bears. Ooh, he's awkward. The 2019 Cotton Bowl Classic, the Memphis Tigers lose to the Penn State Nittany Lions. They lose by about 14, but again, that was a really, really good game. The 2007 Fiesta Bowl, the Boise State Broncos beat the Oklahoma Sooners. The 2010 Fiesta Bowl, the Boise State Broncos beat the TCU Horned Frogs. And the 2014 Fiesta Bowl, the Boise State Broncos beat the Arizona Wildcats. We all forget a couple years ago, their 11th year of football, South Florida was ranked. If you come down here and see this right here, BCS standings, the first BCS standings, they're ahead of Boston College, LSU, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Arizona State, West Virginia, Oregon, the South Florida Bulls as early as that. Now, I know that South Florida, again, they don't have the greatest track record as of late, but remember, all of those teams are capable of doing a lot when it comes to football. They can be good or bad. It just depends on the time of the day. But UCF has got a track record of its success. USF, Cincy, Memphis, Boise State, all of those have good track records, especially in BCS games. So again, I keep on coming back to this, but again, I'm going to pound the table. Here's what is most important, okay? The most important thing when conferences pick teams to ascend them up. The whole reason why they do that is one thing, and it's one thing only. Sellability, okay? That's the number one reason why they do any of this kind of stuff, okay? So the sellability is a combination of the market that you're in, the combination of your competition, and the combination of your viewership. So if you're not in a great market, but you have you're very competitive and you're very good viewerships. As an example, Boise State, they're not in a great market in Boise, but they are very competitive and a lot of people watch their games. If you think about a team that has really good competition and a really good market and really good viewership, I mean, you're talking about, UCF is in that Orlando market. They kind of shut that place down. UCF is a huge campus, so I cannot stress enough how big UCF is. USF's good, Cincy, Memphis, all those teams. I'm going to get back to that in a second here because I actually want to make sure we come through one last thing. So who should the Big 12 pick? Because again, this right here, that voting alliance was set up. Nobody's really pillaging them as of yet. This all could change because the Pac-12 did come out and basically say we're open to expansion. But as of right now, I'm telling you right now, I'm pleading with you, Big 12, okay? Don't stub your nose at teams that are below you in conference. I mean, remember, you guys still have Kansas in your conference for football, okay? Just remember that. So who do you actually go to and who do you actually look out there and try to add it to your conference? We're actually going to use 365 Sports videos really quickly, and we're going to check it out. So here we are. We have Sam Bradshaw from Sigma365.com. He is going to highlight essentially what the conference needs to do when it looks for expansion. So we're going to go into that really quickly.
Well, I think anytime you're looking at potential expansion for the remaining 8, you're having to look at who adds the most value, obviously, that you can get. And then from there, I do think the top of the AAC is a lot more marketable than their overall numbers, to where some of those teams might be comparable, if half their schedule wasn't against some of the weaker teams in that conference. So it's really about who do you think makes the most sense. And I think we have a pretty good idea just in terms of television contract realities. I mean, BYU was paid by ESPN to go independent. Boise State, first with ESPN, now with Fox, their home games are literally carved out of the Mountain West TV contract for additional money as a separate bid. And when UConn left the American, there was a bit of information from a source that was leaked to the Houston Chronicle that there are 5 schools in the American: Central Florida, South Florida, Memphis, Houston, and Cincinnati, that if they leave, ESPN reserves the right to change the contract terms. So I think you're looking at some combination of those schools if you're going to bring somebody in.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's all I've been saying. Okay. I've just been saying a couple things like that. Okay. But, okay, my boy, Mr. Bradshaw out there from Sikkim 365 Sports. Love that video. Again, I encourage everybody here, go follow 365 Sports. Go subscribe to their channel. Absolutely love the stuff that they've been doing. But again, I want to make sure we go into that. So if we go into that, so you keep those 8 existing members, you add in Boise State, BYU, you add in Houston, Memphis, Cincy, USF, and UCF. And then some sort of, you either add in SMU from that Dallas market, or you add in a surprise team, Colorado State. So here it's denverpost.com. I know it's Denver Post, but again, basically, so they had talked to the Big 12 before, the Colorado State did. Now, the problem with that is that they're basically just a geographic fit. They're not a really great team. They have a nice new stadium, but if there's nobody in it, they only average about 25,000 fans a game. It's not great. So moderately competitive, not necessarily great. They haven't been to a bowl game since 2017, so that's not a good sign. But you look at that, and I want to kind of go to the map real quick. So as a reference, I put Baylor on here just so I could remember where they're actually at. So if you look at it right here, so those existing Big 12 teams are right around in here. Okay, you add in Boise State, BYU. Okay, you add in Houston, you add in Memphis, you add in Cincy, West Virginia's right here, you add in Cincy, you add in Central Florida and South Florida, and you add in Colorado State, somewhere around here, maybe you add yourself in a little bit of that SMU, something like that. You've got a lot of teams. You've got 16 teams. You can cut in 2 different divisions and go about it that way. Remember, you're gonna go from all the way from Idaho, all the way to West Virginia, all the way down to Florida, all the way over to Texas. You're gonna have a really wide array of teams that you can pick from. You got a lot of areas that you can recruit at. I think that it really adds a dimension to this league. Remember, I think that this league's best bet. I gotta get off the camera for this real quick. Unfortunately for the Big 12, right now, unfortunately, the reason why Oklahoma and Texas left was because they saw you as JV. Okay. Now that doesn't mean you can't be a 2009 Big East style conference. Remember, the Pac-12 is the ACC minus Clemson. Okay. Until USC gets their act together, there's no real dominant team. Every once in a while, somebody's going to come out together. And I think that that's what this conference could be. It's going to be certainly competitive. Okay. I don't give a dang what anybody says. They're going to be super competitive, but that's what I think should happen. But again, I'm just me, okay? I got plenty of insiders saying things like that. Hopefully they can get it, and hopefully Boise State gets to a big conference. Okay, sorry. Just the fan's coming out. The fan is coming out. I apologize. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, do anything like that. I really appreciate it. Everybody have yourself a happy and healthy week. I will see you all on Wednesday.